congratulations on yesterday's win. I don't know there's too many 8-man games that are 14-8, but you guys, I mean, the defensive struggle between two of the best at 1B in the state of Washington was everything we could have hoped.
It was a fantastic game. The weather with the wind last night was quite the challenge for both teams.
Right.
And, man, I was so proud of my guys. They kept battling, and we had to change up everything we want to do offensively. And they rolled with the punches and did a good job.
Keegan Bishop, obviously a big part of that. Not only did he run in the game-winning touchdown in that fourth quarter, but he also made the game-ending interception in the fourth quarter. But, boy, yeah, you talk about 8-man, which is so often built around passing the football and explosive plays, and it just becomes really hard when you're looking at 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds.
It does. Yep. We couldn't throw the ball much. We did have one passing touchdown. But, yeah, we had to rely on our running backs and Keegan running the ball, and they did a really nice job. And then our defense, holding the team to 8 points in 8-man football is a very hard thing to do. And so we were incredibly proud of the defense.
So what's the next step for you guys? Obviously, you guys, I think your RPI is somewhere in the top 2 or 3 of 1B. Your rankings have been in the top 2 or 3 of 1B. So I'd imagine you guys get into state, and now what happens next for you?
So the seeding committee meets today or tomorrow, and we find out what seed we are. If we're a top 4 seed, we get a bye in the first round. If we're not, we play next week, and we'll determine, the seating committee will determine who that is. But if we get a bye, we're straight into the quarterfinals.
Now, will they try to keep you and DeSales on opposite sides of the bracket, or could you guys meet as early as the quarterfinals?
I think they'll intentionally not have us meet in the quarterfinals.
Okay.
And so that would put DeSales, if we're like a 3 seed, that'd put DeSales as like a 6 or something along those lines. I don't think they want to see 2 teams from the same league meet in the quarters if they can help it.
Semis they're okay with because at that point there's only 4 teams left anyways, and how much control do you have?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
As JoJo Cole gets the direct snap, and he's trying to fight his way through. Now, we've been talking to a lot of coaches about their junior programs, their Great Kids programs, and I'd imagine for Liberty Christian it's a little different for you guys because you don't necessarily have that direct tie, but you get to almost, I would imagine, be involved in all of this because you get kids from all over the Tri-Cities.
We do. We get kids from all over the place. We have a middle school program that's progressing. We are looking at starting a flag program, potentially with CBYF for our 2nd and 3rd graders. I have a son who's going to be in 2nd grade next year. And,
very cool.
And he likes flag football, and so we might do that at Liberty. We're still working on the logistics.
Yeah, he's over here. He is very much tuned with this football game.
Yes, he is.
Like father, like son, I think.
That's right.
And your daughter's here as well. Very cool to have them up here. But no, it's I just would imagine it's such a great program because one, the Tri-Cities produces. We have got great football, and really all of Central Washington has some great football. And it doesn't even matter classification. I mean, last night the MCC went 4-0. So 4 teams are going to the state playoffs. The Big 9 or MCC will go tonight, and then we could have another MCC. We could have as many as 6 MCC teams going, and that tells you how good that league is. And then in the Bs, you've got Riverview out of Findlay. They took care of business. They go on to state. You guys beat DeSales. You guys will go on to state. DeSales out of Walla Walla is really good. So we got a lot of great football in this area.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, we always have, and with Chiawana and Kamaikan and Richland and all these schools being as dominant as they are, and Southridge coming along, that's so good to see Southridge. Coach Johnson over there is doing great things, and to see them go beat Auburn was awesome. I'm very happy for that program. That just does great things for the whole 3A MCC.
I wonder how many people start running wing T. Well, maybe not too many people. Wing T offenses with Southridge, but I tell you what, when it's blowing like it was, you're thankful you can run the football.
I kind of wish we were running wing T last night. I'll tell you what, it would have been a lot.
How would that work with 8 man? I think that'd be interesting.
It would be. Yeah, you'd run a lot of unbalanced stuff, and there's a couple of teams that do it. And if you have the right kids, it can work, but it's tough.
So you guys get the opportunity so if you do host a playoff game, where will you guys try to get that? Will that be here at Fran Rish, or will it be at one of the kind of the big 3, or will you guys be back at Hanford like you were last night?
I don't think it'll be at Hanford because Hanford can't host a playoff game. They don't have stands on both sides, from what I understand. Fran Risch is just eligible this first year because of the turf.
Right.
And so it could be at Fran Risch. We've played a lot of our games over the years at Edgar Brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because you guys are in Pasco, just not too far from.
No, we're here in Richland.
Oh, sorry, you're in Richland.
Yeah, no, we're in Richland.
No, it's TCP's in.
Yep.
Yeah,
Richland would be great. It'd be right down the road from us.
Right.
Now you have a lot of kids that come. I'd imagine your team, you're not, because you're not affiliated with a town per se. You are affiliated with like a region, so you probably have kids from Richland and Kennewick and Pasco and probably beyond those borders as well.
Yeah, all over the place. Yeah, which makes getting together for workouts and practice a little more difficult, right? You got kids coming from 25 miles away.
Yeah.
We have one kid that lives way out in Pasco, and so he has a hard time getting in sometimes. He doesn't drive yet. We've had kids from Mattawa in the past that have come in, and so all over the region we have kids, and it makes logistics difficult at times, but overall it's a good thing.
Well, the Patriots, though, you guys have had one heck of a season. I mean, you've had dominant offensive games, and then last night you showed you could play defense when you need to, and I'd imagine that makes you feel pretty good as you go forward into the state playoffs, knowing I have got two sides of the football that can really step up when needed.
Yeah, last night I felt like validated our team. In terms of we can play defense. We know we can score when we don't have hurricane winds or whatever. And so it was a good football game heading into the state playoffs for us.
Who are we looking at as obviously there's you guys and Sales. We can mark those two teams as teams to watch in the 1B playoffs. Who are some of the other teams that people need to keep an eye on?
Oh, Odessa is really good. Odessa's won state championships a lot over the last few years. Their coach is one of the best in the state.
Okay.
He's won 7 or 8 state championships.
I think I saw a game against them in ACH, Elmira Cooley Hardline several years back.
Yep.
In the state championship game.
Odessa's tough. Nia Bay on the west side is good from what I understand. And then there's Liberty Bell, which is actually a Richland High grad. Ryan Lindy, I think is his name, is the head coach of Liberty Bell. And he's got a good program up there. So those are the teams that I'm sort of keeping an eye on, seeing what they do the next couple weeks.
Okay. So this all gets decided tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll get to see the brackets. So
yep.
I would be interested to see how they do that, because I know, and I don't think it was last year. I think it was 2019 before, or was it 2020 because we didn't have the pandemic concerns for football. Or it would have been the 1920 season.
Yeah.
And they did a whole YouTube broadcast where the folks over they're the partners, the broadcast streaming partners.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, like they did this whole show and everything like that, where they released brackets like they were. It was a fun show, and I know the guys that ran it, so I'll be interested to see how they work that this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're doing anything live like that from what I understand. I think that first year, that might have been the first year of the committee, and they had a lot of media guys, a lot of guys who were on social media as part of that. So maybe that's why they were able to do the YouTube or the
Well, I know this year, and I think Matt Evans is part of that.
I don't know that he's on the committee.
Oh, I thought he was on one, because they have multiple committees and they're different people.
Matt should be. Matt knows more about, especially small school football, than anybody else in the state. Him and Ryland Spencer on the west side both do a really nice job. I do know Jeff Nelson up at Odessa is on the committee.
Okay.
And then Brian Bailey from ENIAT, they're on the 8-man committee.
Okay. So. Yeah, and that'll all be released tomorrow. But it'd be interesting because there's a lot of things still to be decided today, particularly at least on some of the bigger classifications. But obviously, with the referee situation that we've had, a lot of these games are getting shifted around and being pushed to Thursday or Friday or Saturday, and sometimes it's logistics too. I mean, we couldn't have Kennewick potentially play at the same night as Kamiakin, or we could be in a situation where I know that Hanford played just this past Tuesday, and to decide who would play Sunnyside, so that you don't want them playing on a Friday night necessarily. So you're looking at opportunities, but it'll be interesting to see how it all shapes out, because I think it's going to be really fascinating to watch these teams and who gets placed where.
I think so as well. Yeah, I'm curious to see how Hanford and Sunnyside go today, with that game, and then for us getting to the playoffs, it'll be nice to have some regularity to the schedule, because we've played a bunch of games on Saturdays this year, a Thursday game. We actually played 3 games in the span of 7 days because of cancellations and things, and so we're looking forward to kind of a set schedule and knowing exactly what's going on.
Right.
And then you can really start to plan ahead.
Right. That's exactly right.
And I think we're done with smoke. Maybe let's fingers crossed we're done with that. And football plays in any weather, as we saw last night. So
that's exactly right.
And that's a
good run there.
Not bad. Can you get past the last defender? No,
not quite.
Diego Sabalza. Now, when you start looking at these kids here in the 7th, 8th grade, obviously you have your own junior program, but for the most part, these are more directly involved within like the Pasco school or within the Prosser school or something like that. But do you kind of keep an eye out and look for kids that might be a good fit for you guys, or at least just names to remember?
I don't. We actually have a handful of our kids that play for these other programs. We have a couple kids in the Junior Bombers program who are 7th graders at Liberty Christian this year. And so what ends up happening is I end up losing some of those kids to the bigger schools. More often, I don't ever get kids come in, but I'll get some pretty good ones that leave and go, I want to go to the 4A or the 3A or whatever. So I love watching any football, but I'm never looking going, oh man, I got to go talk to that kid's parents. I'm not doing that. I got too much respect for the other coaches in the area, and there's enough stigma around private schools recruiting.
That's true.
Right.
I don't need that drama in my life.
I tell you, I watched your kids this spring in 7-on-7, and they competed with everybody up here. So.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Our quarterback's he's pretty talented.
Yeah.
We're proud of him. He's worked really hard, and we got 3 senior wide receivers, and so you got the quartet there of seniors that can do some special things.
That's great.
Is Keegan, your kids going on to play anywhere? Or?
He wants to. Yeah, he's getting recruited by some Division III schools.
Okay.
A couple NAIA. So he's still keeping his options open right now.
Fair.
But he definitely wants to go play, and that's his goal. And he's got the work ethic and the attitude to do it. He's in the gym all the time. Sometimes it's just him and I in the weight room lifting together, and he wants it.
That's good.
Yeah,
because you grow up kind of wanting it, and then sometimes the dreams don't necessarily happen, but you always like to keep it around for as many of those kids as possible. You want that dream to last as long as possible.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yep, and something I've learned over the years is I can't want it more than they want it, and in Keegan's case, he definitely wants it more than I want it for him, and so happy to help him in whatever way I can.
We need to have a Tri-City showcase for some of these unsigned kids. I mean, like I know that Matt Johnson is got the Lucy and Cone bandwagon going.
Mm-hmm.
There was somebody else, and I'm blanking on it now. But there's a few kids around here that aren't signed that you'd kind of go, wait a minute, what?
Yeah,
I'm a little shocked about that.
Well, we do have the junior college now in the area.
Yeah,
Pacific Northwest Christian College, and that's a great opportunity that we haven't had in the past, at least in the recent past, for unsigned kids to get some football and get some film, and maybe hopefully make a jump to a 4-year school.
Yeah, Bill Templeton coaching that, and I know former Prosser quarterback Caden Rivera is at that school right now.
Yes, he is.
More with several. I think there's a handful of Prosser Mustangs that are there.
I know a couple of them there.
So that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, Bill. Bill's a great coach. I've respected Bill for a long time, and he actually came and helped us a little bit last year at Liberty Christian. As he took a year off from the other stuff, and man, I'm excited for him to have that opportunity to coach that junior college.
Well, and I've talked to so many coaches and stuff, and these kids really get to learn about life and some great lessons, and plus it's good to have continue to be athletic as long as you can humanly possibly be athletic.
That's exactly right.
It'll help you into your old age. Trust me, I think we all know that a little too well.
Yes, yeah. I've got the hips and knees and everything else to say I wish I could still run a little bit, but I'm excited for the kids in this area. I just think it's a great opportunity for kids who aren't quite aren't quite big enough or whatever to play some ball still.
Fumble recovery by Prosser after the JoJo Cole run, I think, and then so that'll be a turnover. Mustangs. We've yet to see a score here in this third quarter. Still 24-6 Pasco. Just about 4 minutes remaining in the third. So you've got kids that are in a lot of these different kinds of programs. So when we talk to Scott Biglin and stuff, obviously he's got his Kamaikan team, and that's where he's got sort of his heart. And we talk to Coach Ingvelson, who's going to have his heart with Prosser. You get to just watch football and watch these kids play.
That's right. Yeah, I just get to enjoy it. I don't have to have a dog in the fight necessarily. we'll see how things progress. Eventually, my son will be playing tackle at some level, and if we don't have a program at Liberty, he'll be a part of one of these programs, and then I'll have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
But for now, I just get to cheer on good plays and enjoy good football, and I like that.
What position is he going to be?
Oh man, I don't know. He likes playing wide receiver.
Okay.
A lot. Yeah, we throw the ball a little bit, but he likes playing wide receiver, and then he likes playing linebacker.
Oh, he likes to hit people.
He likes tackling. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He's pretty.
Can we find some old footage of Steve Largent and show him that?
We should. Yeah, we should. I think I can YouTube those.
I'm sure we can. That's a very different receiver than what we see in the NFL these days.
Yes, he was a safety playing receiver.
That was my first sports hero, Steve Largent, and so, but no, that's kind of fun to see these kids grow up and watch them and get to see where they go, and I know that you guys are excited about next week, and I would like to think we'll have you an opportunity to see you guys at Fran Rish or somewhere local.
That would be awesome. That's what we're hoping for as well.
And but ultimately, I guess it's not up to us.
Yeah, I tell my guys we control what we can control, and we've won all our games, and so now it's up to other people to sort of make those decisions.
And you've won games against good teams. I mean, that's the other thing, too. And probably the best thing is to have that DeSales game as a great catch and run here for Prosser.
Nice job.
Knocked out of bounds, Autry Hofer.
Yes, Hofer.
But
coached his dad years ago.
But yeah, you look at it, and your last impression is always probably your last impression. And you guys beat you guys were second and third, I think.
Yeah, they were. I think they were third, and we were fifth or sixth. It just depends on where your rankings are at. But it's good to beat some good competition as you head into the seating committee and into state.
So that'll help with all the rankings. And there's Hofer again, this time bowling over a defender, touchdown Prosser.
What a run.
Autry Hofer did it after a catch and did it with a straight handoff. Dave here is a longtime Prosser resident and worked with the Prosser football team, the Greek Kids program. So
first Greek Kid team I coached was in 1977.
Oh, my goodness.
Won a Super Bowl then.
That's great.
And in and out for 40-some years.
Before the Moore regimen and after the Moore regimen as well, right?
And during.
During, of course.
And he invited me. I was on the staff with him for 9 years.
That's great. Yeah. What a legacy up there.
Yes.
Man.
Great job he did.
Yep.
My son and Kellen were ball boys. One of the state championship teams.
Well, and that's even pouring into the Richland program now with Josh Jelinek and all of those guys.
I coached Josh and Greek Kids.
Right.
So it takes me back a few years.
Yeah.
See, what happens now is that I just realize as I see kids of people that I know, I'm like, oh, man.
That's right.
Well, let's see. I coached.
Facebook has not been helpful in that regard. But you get to
Josh Jelinek, I had him.
But quite
a few coaches up here. Tyler Thomas.
I grew up on the west side, and one of the famous west side names, especially if you're a Husky fan, was a guy named Joe Jarzinka. And he was this fearless kick returner for the Huskies, and I had classes with him when I went to high school, and now they've got kids, and their kids are old enough to play football, and you start to go, oh, my goodness.
Yep. A lot of growing up in the area, I'm the same age as Leon Jackson, and like the only memory I have of middle school football is Leon coming down the hole and me playing free safety and not standing a chance. So it's like the only. I don't know why that's the only memory I've got, but it's the only one I've got. And man, there were some just phenomenal athletes in this area back then, and today as well.
He probably has a different memory of running you over.
I would imagine he does. Yeah, he probably doesn't remember it. That was pretty commonplace for him.
So
I remember him running for the Richland Cowboys back in the day.
Yes, he did. Yep, I was part of the Richland Raiders.
Oh, were you?
I was.
Right. Yeah, I was the coach for the Golden Lions for forever.
Yeah.
So after the Prosser touchdown, they trail by 10, and they've got Pasco now with the football back. Well, Craig, I know you guys have got a lot of preparation to do, and I'd imagine a week off would do you pretty good, though, too. any bumps and bruises, you'd probably get an opportunity to kind of get those guys rested.
Last night was pretty physical, so we could use a week off. We're hoping for a bye. If we don't get it, that's fine too. But a week off would heal up a little bit and get us into the quarterfinals.
And a home game in the quarterfinals.
And a home game, yeah.
And that would be the big part, I'd imagine.
That's the main thing.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Craig, thanks so much for joining us. Wish you the best of luck in the state playoffs. And I know at least I, for one, given the fact that I'll be covering it for news, will be paying attention. And I appreciate you and stopping by and to give us some of your time.
Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
We'll be rooting for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
All right, Craig Lukens, head coach over at Liberty Christian High School. They beat DeSales last night, and we'll now wait tomorrow to find out exactly where they place in the 1B state tournament, a 12-team state tournament. Well, Pasco has a football with just about a minute and a half remaining here in the third quarter. They hold the 10-point lead after a great first half. Chain off JoJo Cole over the left-hand side. And he gets up and almost to midfield. That'll bring up third down. Lots of great opportunities. Talked to a lot of great coaches today. Unfortunately, we had hoped to have Royal head coach Riley Allred here. Unfortunately, family situation, and a good family situation, nothing bad. A very positive family situation has dragged him away from us today, so he will not be able to join us.
He is going to be a grandpa here any minute, hour.
So he has got that going for him. As the ball's up the middle. Next, coming up here in just a few minutes, we'll have Richland Bomber head coach Mike Neidhold. He also had a late night last night. I think their game didn't start till 7. And so I think when they came back from East Wenatchee after their game ended closer to 10, so they may not have gotten home till after midnight last night.
How did they do last night?
They won.
All right.
They were part of the MCC sweep of 4.
So they played Eastmont?
They played Eastmont. That was
another Prosser grad up there coaching.
That
I coached.
Wild. I mean, if you haven't seen the video, and I don't know if you can find it, I would think you can find it, but maybe not easily. It was a wild scenario. They went into Week 9 with 4 teams possible to win the Big 9 title. Well, they share it, but to be the number 1 seed and be league champs. And so Sunnyside beat Davis. That wasn't a particularly close game, but the game everybody was watching was Moses Lake Eastmont. And that was a game that Eastmont had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. Moses Lake came back. They took a lead with under a minute to go. Eastmont gets the football. They don't they have an incomplete on the third down, and the clock operator lets the clock go to 0. So everybody thinks the game is over. And that Moses Lake has won. They're league champs and everything. The referees stop everybody, put 1 second back on the clock, much like we saw earlier today in this game, in our 6th grade game. And on the next play, Eastmont has the ball tip off the defender into the arms of the wide receiver, and he runs it into the end zone for a touchdown. Eastmont goes on to win.
I've seen that last play. It was unbelievable. It
was an unbelievable play, and with that victory and the Sunnyside victory, Sunnyside and Eastmont tied for the league title. And, well, the Grizzlies beat the Wildcats, and so Sunnyside got the number 1 seed, so that's why they get to host Hanford tonight at 6 o'clock up in Sunnyside. Eastmont got to host Richland as the 2 seed. The Bombers went up there, though, and played one of their better games as we end the third quarter. So Pasco leads 24-14. You're watching the CBYF Super Bowl Championships on SWX.
Be in the know on the go. Alerts straight to your wrist with the Nonstop Local News app. Free for iOS and Android. Nonstop Local.
Columbia Basin Youth Football coordinates with area high schools to ensure the kids are getting a great football experience. There are no tryouts, and the CBYF offers open enrollment, so all who sign up play regardless of a family's ability to pay. Teams are divided up based on high school boundary in which they live. You can find out more and register your kids now at cbyf.football. As we get into this fourth quarter, Pasco with the football on the Prosser 40-yard line. Now it'll back up 5 yards after a false start. And the Bulldogs shut out in that third quarter, but still hold the 24-14 advantage. after a very successful first half where they ran the ball almost at will. 3 rushing touchdowns. I'm watching the quarterbacks check back with the official. Fake the handoff to Cole. So Balls are going to keep it himself. Inside the 40, inside the 35, and find some space. Inside the 20.
What an athlete.
Touchdown, Diego Sepulza.
What an athlete.
I kind of wish we had Leon Wright Jackson stopping by at some point today. My goodness, he'd be fun to talk about what's happening with these kids and what their Pasco program might be going here in a few years.
I don't know how many runs he's had where it's 3rd and long and 4th and long, and he just breaks them.
Yeah, using his feet well and strength, and then just once he gets into the space where he needs it, kicks it into 5th gear. And the great thing is these kids are super pumped up on the sideline. And not that these kids wouldn't be otherwise, but it's the kids are really excited, and so we could be 3-4 years away from Pasco battling for an MCC title on a pretty regular basis.
Got a nice kicker out here too.
Yeah, and that's important in these CBYF games when the kick catch you too. And if you just go for essentially a run play or try to get it's not a 2-point conversion, but it's in that same style. You only get a single point.
Yeah. Prosser Mustangs had a really good kicker this year as a senior, Max Flores. When we had him in 8th grade, he kicked a 42-yard field goal. And he was quite a weapon. And then we played in the Eastern Washington Championship at Spokane. And a couple days before, he broke his ankle in basketball practice. So, and we lost by 1 point.
Oh, no.
So it might have made a difference. Don't know if it would have, but exciting game no matter what. So.
And he's going to be one of the leaders on that Prosser basketball team this year.
Yes, he will be.
As a senior, he certainly is going to be the tallest player on that team. As the kickoff will bounce inside the 35, or is collected and brought back up to about the 40-yard line. Alexander Espino at the return. So Prosser, well, they're kind of up against it, trailing by 18. That's 3 scores they need to get in this quarter.
Yeah, that last touchdown by Pasco kind of put them in a big hole now. So they were slowly bringing a comeback, but made a good game out of it. But that quarterback's just a little too much to handle. So.
Yeah, no, he's really good. Now he's out playing corner. You often see quarterbacks play safety, but at least for the 7th grade team, he's out playing cornerback. And now he's going to try to rush the quarterback. And that was just, that was going nowhere.
That wasn't too pretty.
And that's a learning opportunity there for the young man. That'll be a situation where he'll go back and they'll explain what he should have done or what he was supposed to do. But he was lost at that point and didn't really know exactly how to get the football out and wasn't sure who to get it to. And so Pasco now with the football on the Prosser 31-yard line. A few minutes from now, we'll welcome in, we're supposed to be welcoming in Coach Mike Neidholt from the Richland Bombers, also a winner last night. If you're looking for more great football to watch today, you can come out here. There'll be football all day long at Fran Risch Stadium. This beautiful newly renovated facility. They're going to be playing. Fumble again. Pasco had 2 guys go for it.
And I think they recovered it. Pasco did.
But you can also go to Lamson Stadium. Kennewick Lions face the Auburn Mountain View Lions at 3 o'clock this afternoon. If you'd like to check that game out, you can also stream it on the NFHS Network. Or at 6 o'clock tonight in Sunnyside, the Grizzlies going to be hosting the Hanford Falcons in a battle of the Big Nine versus the MCC. Both those games, by the way, winner to state, and the loser, unfortunately, their season ends earlier than they had hoped.
Will SWX be able to broadcast any playoff games?
I don't know. Our plan is not at this time. Okay. But we will. I there to a certain extent, let those who tell me what to do tell me what to do.
Well, I didn't know after last year there was so much with the broadcast after COVID.
We will be ready if called upon. I know that. Third down now for Pasco.
Well, I love it. I get to watch you guys reruns from last year, so I love it. So,
I would do nothing else. This is the best part of my job, that's for sure. And I love doing my job, but this is the best part of it. So third down for Pasco. Hand off JoJo Cole up the right-hand side. Cuts up the middle. Gets inside the 30 to the 29. Where he'll be tackled.
Good for first down.
No, it was 3rd and 11. So
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was over there looking at. I didn't see the other guy. He had it half down. So then the monitor's in my way. So apologize.
So that's actually 4th down, but more than anything, Pasco's running time off the clock, and I know that's what their coaching staff wants to do. Coached by Izzy and Ismail Mercado. Ryan Clevert also as well were part of that staff. Doing some great things with this Pasco program. Zabalza, out of a shotgun look, rolls to his right, looking, tossing, complete.
Nice.
To 25-20, first down. Creed Laughlin with the catch and the first down after the...
Tell you, Creed's not very big, but he put his head down and made some extra yards there. Good for the first down.
So that'll get the clock rolling again. Another set of downs for Pasco. And what, at least for now, seems an inevitable march to a Bulldogs 7th grade Super Bowl victory. But they always say never. Sbalza hands it off to JoJo Cole. Up the middle, he's met and dropped. Well, not much, maybe a yard there.
Blake Gilman on the stop. His dad is one of the Prosser assistant football coaches.
Yeah, big thanks to all these coaches that have stopped by and said hi. Give some sort of time.
His aunt is married to Benji Sonicson, another ex-Prosser football coach.
Yeah, that's a legendary name in Prosser football.
Yeah. I had 2 of his boys on our team this year. It's kind of nice to have extra coaches out there helping me.
I know Joe Sonicson was a big part of their offense this year. He and Neil were kind of the primary running backs, if I recall correctly.
Joe actually went to Zilla this year.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where the name he was the primary running back for Zilla.
Joe's a good athlete, just a junior. So his brother Jay and Johnny were on our 5th grade team.
Third down, about 7 for the Pasco squad. Under 5.5 to go here in the 4th quarter. Take the handoff. So the ball's going to keep it himself. Tries to bounce it outside. He has to get around the corner. It does, but he got stretched out pretty far and gets maybe a couple. So that'll bring it 4th down.
Well, he does have a lot of speed, though.
So we'll see what he's going to run over and get the play. Yeah, they're going to wait down. Okay, so there's going to be a timeout, I think, is what we're getting here. I think they were going to try to wait till the play clock was 1, but then they just decided to call it.
Quarterback looks like he's limping a little bit after that last play.
And this is where, as a coach, you just say, we're going to hand it off. Can you hand it off? And he says, yep, we're good to go. These kids love playing, though. And
don't they, though?
It's always fun when they get, if you're lucky enough, you get to play football a long time. So that's always really fun for these kids to get to play, and they get the love of it early. This SWX broadcast is brought to you by Talos Engineering. Talos is dedicated to empowering manufacturers with the data and services required to optimize production. But you talk about, and we've heard coaches talk about it. You want them to fall in love with the game, continue to love that game, and then watch where it goes from there. And if you're lucky enough to continue to play beyond the 6th, 7th, 8th grade time frame. You get to play maybe in high school, and maybe if you're lucky from there, you get to play even beyond that. We've certainly seen our fair share of folks come through and get opportunities at the next level.
Yeah, it was like the senior class this year. I think all but one of them played grade kids. And so it was exciting to see, and the feeder players, or the younger kids, are all grade kid players. So
it does take a commitment, though, by the high school staff. I know I've talked to many high school coaches who are just like, they didn't think it is, just talked about how it's changed and didn't been so different. Now Sabalza is going to toss it. He's got an open receiver. Is it a catch?
I don't know.
They did. They say
said
catch.
He caught it.
Nice grab there by Jose Valadez.
What a catch. We'll see that on the replay there.
Yeah, that was a good scramble there by Sabalza, and he just finds he had the open receiver, and great adjustment and diving effort by Jose Valadez. So now 1st and goal. As the Clark starts to roll. So this game not quite as close as our first game, the 6th grade. Coming up next will be the Pasco Bulldog the Junior Bulldogs, the 8th grade team, facing off against the Sunnyside Junior Grizzlies, their 8th grade team. I can see them off in the distance, wearing the black and red. Handoff over the left-hand side and drop. That's Daniel Martinez. Haven't seen a lot of him today. But he is giving JoJo Cole a break. Now Cole comes back in. One thing you're seeing, though, is that they're rotating, but they have got 11 on the field. They don't have much more than that. I think Pasco's got 4 or 5 on the sideline here. Prosser's got more. They got 10 or so extra. Sabalza will get the man in motion. Hand the football off to JoJo Cole over the right-hand side. Tries to find the edge. Gets inside the 5, but tackled at the 3 for a gain of a yard. And now to bring up 30.
Haven Prito on the stop. Nice open field tackle. Save a touchdown.
At this point, you want to make sure you're playing good football, learning. You know, because not everything in your football career is going to be close and tight or a winning experience. And so you get there and you want to make sure that you continue to put the effort in. How you play, what you do.
Just to make it to the Super Bowl is amazing. So.
And this opportunity for all these kids, something they'll probably remember for a very long time. Sabalza going to keep it himself up the middle. He's hit and dropped. Driven backwards. I think that was Audrey Hofer, and the other one might have been
Denny, I think, number 30.
Yeah, Denny might have been there. Owen Denny. So that'll bring up 4th down. Prosser making a change as well as Maximus Martinez comes in. Under 3 to go in this one. Pasco going to win the 7th grade championship. Now they're trying to put one more score on the board. Going to spread things out initially, then tighten everything up. Sabalza going to keep it himself. Left-hand side has a hole.
He's in.
And he is really close. Looking at the officials, touchdown. There wasn't that initial scoring indication, but it was eventually signaled. And I think that's, number 3? Number 3 or number 4 for Diego Sabalza.
Well, I tell you what an athlete. Very impressed by that young man.
So we'll see. They're going to... Are they kicking it?
Yes,
yep, there they are.
Kick for a 2.
This is good practice, too, for kicking into the wind. As that is up, and I think that's short. And that just, you get that ball up in the air, and the wind is just flat, knocking it down.
Last night we watched, my grandson recovered the longest onside kick I ever seen. Our kicker kicked it, and it looked like it was going to go all the way to the end zone, and then all of a sudden it hit the air and that wind, and it started moving backwards.
Yeah.
I'd never seen anything like it in my life. Hit him on about the 20-yard line and rolled back, and my grandson cut it on the run. Of course, they have to call it back, but Prosser recovered it on the 25-yard line.
Yeah, I saw a punt from that last night. I can't remember which side was punting, but the punt, and you could almost, you watch it go up the elevator. Like it starts at one angle, and then the wind just lifts it, stops it, and it just goes straight up.
Well, this one actually moved backwards by about 10, 15 yards. It was awesome.
2:25 remaining in this contest. And as we wait for the kickoff here, let's give a thanks to T-Core Title. They are happy to support Columbia-based in youth football. We are happy to have them on board with us. So Pasco with the comfortable advantage. Prosser will get the ball. Another opportunity here to score if they can. And again, you want to try to go out on a positive note, positive feeling. And Hofer jumps on it right there at the 37. That's where the Mustangs will start with the football. Well, you've coached a lot of great kid football, and I'd imagine you've coached your share of wins and your share of losses, and you always have to get the kids kind of understand their perspective of football and the game of football and the game of life.
Exactly. It's all about sportsmanship when it's all said and done, and it's great to win. You all play to win, but when you lose, you stick together, and it brings out character in you.
So 1st and 10 as Diaz looks to throw. He's going to toss one deep down the right-hand side. Incomplete. Intended receiver number 3, Dion Martinez. Just a little out of his reach.
Pretty good toss down there, though, for about 30 yards down the field.
I'd imagine based on, obviously with grade levels, you never know, because it's different kids at different grade levels, but, Dennis Diaz is a kid that's going to come up and maybe not in 2 years when he's a freshman, but in 3 years as a sophomore, he's going to be trying to win that Prosser Mustang starting quarterback job. That pass goes incomplete. Coach I will likely have him in the mix. And he's learning a lot of the skill sets here. He's going to have to learn to throw the...
Excuse me, they are running a lot of Prosser's offense right now, so...
But he's going to have to learn how to throw in the wind, because what was a 10-yard out, during practice last week is not necessarily the same thing when you've got... And the wind is calmed slightly, and it's coming and going as well. And just as I say it calms, it picks up. But
it's only about 26 miles an hour today instead of 60 like last night.
But when you get the ball up in that wind, you have to be able to understand what that's going to happen. And incomplete again. I think that might have been intended for Xander Espino. But yeah, you have to be able to make those adjustments, and especially with the wind at your back, and you're going to throw these go route type patterns, you're going to be in a situation where you need to be able to know where that touch is and understand that. And it's really complicated, and there's a lot of quarterbacks that go a long time into their careers of not understanding exactly, or just struggle with that. As Prosser has set out 5 receivers now. 3 to the right, 2 to the left. Diaz looking, scrambling. He's going to throw, and that's up and a little over the head of his intended receiver, Elijah Schaefer. So turnover on downs means Pasco gets the football. Minute 54 to go. And I think that's one where, if you're Dennis Diaz, you're going to go back there, Daniel Diaz, and you don't need to put quite as much air on that ball.
Right.
And that's what you're learning from here, is that it was particularly with this wind, that ball is going to carry. So keep it in the box where your receiver can get it, and it's going to get there.
Yeah, because he threw it about 5 yards over his head, and like you said, just. But it's hard to say.
Well,
when you got the ball, you throw it that way all year, and then all of a sudden the wind takes it.
And you get it up in that wind, and so
you never know where it's going.
I've played enough golf in my life. I know you have to at some point just account for the wind. As JoJo Cole gets the handoff up the middle, slices his way up to about the 30-yard line, a gain of 7.
I tell you, Pasco's offensive line has just done a well of a job today, really opening up some holes for the running backs and quarterback.
And now, at the high school level, and I'd imagine to a certain extent at this level, the back judge is your timekeeper if they're not using the play clock. I don't see it moving at this point. So the back judge is your timekeeper, and he'll raise his arm when there's 5 seconds remaining on the play clock. And so you can get at least a sense of...
He's got this hand up right now.
And they're going to just hand it off, say he got it off. And admittedly, like we talked to Jeff Kinney earlier, this might be a situation where they're going to go through it and they're going to explain that, hey, if it had been a real, if we'd been going forward, that would have been a situation where the clock might have run out on you. But meanwhile, the Pasco sideline, the cheerleaders, all of that, getting super excited, dancing. They're going to have a big old party tonight. It's Pasco 7th grade. Wins the CBYF Super Bowl championship. And now the victory formation, the coach's favorite formation.
Yes, it is. Congratulations, Pasco.
That's awesome.
38-14 over Prosser.
So good work there for the Bulldogs, and they can try to go 2 for 2. They've got their 8th grade team up next, and this will be the final play. So the Pasco Bulldogs, that's a great win for them. And now the 8th grade team is going to be super motivated because they don't want to be the one that loses. And they got a tough matchup against Sunnyside. So congratulations, Bulldogs. That's awesome for them.
If I remember right, this team is really, really talented, this 8th grade team.
We're going to find out. So, I'm going to get confused here for a second because they're all wearing the same uniform.
Right.
As Prosser coaching staff going to go over there, talk to their kids, and disappointment for sure if you're a Prosser Mustang on that team, but
we still got to be proud of yourselves for getting here this far and getting to be participants in the Super Bowl and giving it all you have.
So Pasco Bulldogs win 38-14. Take a timeout when we come back, and we will get the break in between, get you ready for our 8th grade matchup, and hopefully Coach Mike Knight will be around here at some point as well. You're watching the Columbia Basin Youth Football Super Bowl Championships on SWX.
In the know, on the go. Alerts straight to your wrist with the nonstop local news app.